What is going on, all-terrain nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or these mid-sized trucks we all love to drive, this is your all-terrain nation, and I'm your host, David Boyd. And if you're new to the channel, I am an auto journalist, and just got back from the Chicago Auto Show, man. We took a quick flight out of Chicago yesterday, and I'm still a little worn out from that trip, but we had a lot of fun, and today we're going to talk about some mid-sized trucks that I saw there. The GM twins were there. Nissan had some stuff there. Honda had a race truck Ridgeline that we'll get into a little bit, and just a lot of fun there. There were some old Rangers there, and Toyota had a big booth, and they had an old Tacoma. So that's where we're at this morning. But I hope you guys are waking up. If you're just watching this, I hope you're waking up, watching the show, going, man, mid-sized trucks are so much fun. I do love to discuss those. So what is up, John Waiterman? Probably enjoying his Saturday with his Ford Bronco. Hopefully everything's going well there. Kelly might stop by here in a little bit. I do not know. She's a grumpy one in the morning, so you might not get the nicest Kelly. I'm playing, of course, but I've got a bunch of pictures and stuff. I just dropped a video of Kelly doing a walk around of the new Colorado Z71 that I want to talk about a little bit. And I have to say, overall, the Chicago Auto Show was a lot of fun. This was our first time back since the pandemic and all that. And it was good to be back. It was good to see a bunch of my journalist friends. We were going to go last year, and just the restrictions, they had a bunch of restrictions. It was still one of the mask mandates, and there's nothing like trying to ask questions, to a PR person when you got a mask on your face. So I just wanted no part of that. But I like Chicago because, for one, it's kind of the first major of the season for the auto shows. There was a Houston auto show a couple weeks ago, but all the major manufacturers, they start releasing all their big stuff at Chicago, and Toyota brought out the Grand Highlander this past week, and I didn't film anything with it because, honestly, it doesn't move the needle, the channel needle here, so I didn't have much interest in that. We did do a walk around of the Tundra concept that they were playing with, the little factory off-road concept they're trying to work up, which I think if they do that, it's going to be cool. And I think what it's going to do is bleed into the Tacoma. I think when you see when they release the next Tacoma, you're going to be very excited by all the fun packages they bring to that truck. So, oh man. But anyways, once again, hopefully you guys are having a fun Saturday, and I'm going to bring up the old Instagram. I've got some photos, and we're going to still be posting the rest of the week, or I guess all weekend, some of the photos that we took there. But I want to bring up our Instagram. As you can see right there, if you ever want to think about playing along at home, it's all_terrain_nation_media, because somebody is sitting on All Terrain Nation and won't budge. They won't respond to anything. So it's probably somebody that just captured that name years ago, and they don't use it anymore. And so Instagram will not release my name to me. And they're like, well, is that you? And it's like, yeah, that's me. Which I've had. Instagram's the worst social media. I love Instagram. I love just posting photos and stuff, but it's got to be one of the worst to actually respond to creators. Just awful. Good morning, Dirk. About said Derek. But first off, let's look at the rear end of this. This is the Z71. I've been a big fan of this truck because they're doing something styling wise that we have not seen before. They're kind of taking some chances. Gia, what's going on, girl? Hopefully some news on your Bronco. But I've talked about, it's hard to see in this photo, but they've done this kind of concaved tailgate, or the side into the tailgate that I like. It bleeds into the taillights, and when you see this in person, it even makes more sense. You're like, okay, I understand the design behind this. Is it functional for aerodynamics? I don't know, maybe, but it just looks cool. It's completely new, something that everybody's wanting to be like these masculine, just big, bulky trucks. But then they sort of forget about the tail of the truck. So I'm happy to see they did that. Now, something Kelly pointed out in the video we just dropped a few minutes ago was the lack of tires on this thing. Now, the Z71 package, it used to be kind of their off-road trim. And they've just slowly over the years just kind of just pushed that into more of their upper trims. You get all the fancy features, and they're using now the Trail Boss as that. And then if you want to go crazy, you do the ZR2. But the wheels on this thing and the tire packages were just kind of meh. I'm not a fan of these wheels at all. In typical GM fashion, they put a smaller tire on these things, and of course, once again, this is a road use truck. This is I want a 4-wheel drive truck, kind of. It's fully capable as a 4-wheel drive truck, but it is something that, you know, it's more street oriented. If you're not taking it off road as much, it's probably more for street and snow concerns, weather concerns. And look who just popped in to the show, Miss Kelly Boyd. Now I'm gonna have to do some finagling with the camera. So hang with me. Oh man, I'll be glad we got our new studio set up.
I bring in the trouble.
We're gonna fix some of these problems, Kelly.
Are we? Do you have a plan?
I do have a plan. I have a plan.
Is my mic hot?
Yes, I believe your mic is hot. Let us know if you can hear Kelly. But Kelly, we're going over the Z71 right now. I know you initially were all about Trail Boss. Now you still like Trail Boss, I think, in the Silverado package. But when we got to actually see the Trail Boss Colorado, you were like kind of like, okay. But by the time you got to the Z71, this made your heart.
It was all on.
Yeah, this one appealed to you, right?
Yeah, it did. We've talked about it. I'm kind of bougie, as it turns out.
Pull over just a little bit. There you go.
There we go. We've talked about it. I'm a little bougie when it comes to things.
Yeah,
so,
there's nothing wrong with that.
You know, here's the thing, the way that I look at it, and this is kind of how it was when we bought our Bronco too. It was like the way that I look at it, if we're already spending a pretty penny on it, what in the payment, how much more in the payment is it going to do if you add a few of the extra luxuries that you really want? Of course, not need, you know, because we think we need a lot of things, but in the end of the day, if it's going to make you happy in the vehicle and you can afford it, let me put that out there. If you can afford it, don't spend outside of your means. But if you can afford it and have the luxuries, why not do it?
Yeah. And the interior of this vehicle, I don't know if I do have one photo of the interior right here. So this was the interior of the Z71. Very common things through all the line. The dash was very common. This whole center stack here. Now you do get a little bit more features with the Z71, but pretty identical. They didn't have as much trim, I believe, in the Trail Boss over here, but I did like all the fanciness that they put into it. I love the circular vents. I'm a sucker for circular vents. I don't know why.
Yeah, I thought those were interesting.
I don't know why. And it kind of brings over a little bit of the Camaro design. It's something they've been doing, the little sportiness from that. They're trying to bring over to the rest of it. Everything about this truck was great. I mean, you're going to get a nice Bose sound system in this. So once again, these are features that if you can afford them, you're going to, I really think like the days of going to, you know, your local sound store or whatever, going to Best Buy, having them throw a radio in, a better sound system, are pretty much over.
Yeah.
You can change speakers and stuff. And honestly, most of the time in these, the speakers aren't by Bose. It's just a generic speaker, but it's a tuning of the sound system. So the idea that you're getting a premium tuned sound system, you are getting more speakers in this truck than you would the lower trims. But sounds great. Now, something that you pointed out that didn't catch my eye, and you put it in today's video, we talked about this in 2 of the videos that we've done of these trucks now, is what?
That piano finish, especially on that center console.
Yes, all of this right here, which looks great. But even in this photo, now there's some of this is glare. It just opens itself up to what?
Well, and honestly, you can say it, you know, it opens itself up to scratches, to answer your question.
Yes.
But for 2, you can already see it. You can already see it. These trucks are making, this is not its first auto show.
Right.
These are show vehicles that are making their rounds from one car show to another. And this one you can already see. And let me tell you, these cleaners are not rough on these vehicles because they want them to be there for the entire year of 2023 in all these car shows. But you can already see that it's getting some wear and tear just on touch-ups from
just from polishing. You can see like those
Yeah.
just little hairline scratches. And I don't know, since this is a pre-production model, I don't know if maybe that's something that's a little more durable in the production vehicle, but it was something that we did happen to notice then was like, ooh, that might take a truck like this, which is already probably around $50,000. That might make you go, man, my $50,000 truck in a year is starting to look a little worn, prematurely worn, right?
100%. And for those that don't know, those are things that Chevy or any of the manufacturers are going to say, nope, it's not replaceable under warranty because it's cosmetic. So this is something that your vehicle is going to show some wear and tear on pretty quickly, and you're going to be like, dang. And if you go to turn it in, those things are going to hit you when you turn it in or sell it.
Yeah, but you're getting all the special modes in this. The cup holders are back here, which I kind of like when the cup holders are a little closer. Now, something they've I've early on I was seeing people fuss about was the shifter, and we didn't talk about this in the video, but the shifter being on the other side of all of these knobs.
Well, here's the way I think it is. I think it's because this is a midsize. Do you recall, was it that way in the full size?
I do not recall.
Okay. I don't recall if it was this way in the full size, but if you think about it, because in my video we talk about how it's not quite as wide as I would expect it to be from a comfort perspective, because I think that console is pretty big. So I wonder if it would still be comfortable because you're already kind of compact in the driver's seat. So maybe it's the right spot where your arm sits on the console or things. But if you think about it, it's not centered on the console. It's not left side on the console. So you're either going to be elbowing somebody next to you.
I guess it does give driver just a little bit more space, but that's something I have noticed within the GM brands. Your dad's last Canyon that he had was a nice vehicle, but the GM products tend to sit more like cars. The way it feels more tightly. And I do remember that a lot about I remember commenting that a couple years ago about your dad's truck. Loved driving it, but it was just like you're saying, you just felt like you were in almost like a race car, like a sports car kind of like feel. Like some people want that cockpit to feel like it's all around them. And the good thing about this screen was kind of tilted. It was all driver experience. Everything about it was more oriented for the driver. But yes, that was one of the complaints. And by no means are we tiny people. So, but guess what? America's a pretty large nation now. So, I do worry about that a little bit. I think that is a concern. But we also noticed headspace.
We did.
Headroom in these, they do have bubbles out for them. This one had the sunroof in it, so you did have a little bit more headspace. But there was it came down to where the sunroof had to go into the truck. And even where the passengers were, they had to bubble the roof back up, if you noticed.
Yeah.
Man, sorry, scratchy throat all of a sudden. But ultimately, though, I think the Z71 here, I think it was a nice package. The seats in it, you can see some of the stitching and stuff of the seats. It was really nice. And I was pretty impressed with this truck. Overall, like I said, I think before you got here, we'll scratch on this again just a little bit. Wheels. We both were not impressed with the wheel package they put on this.
Not at all. But you all know I like a blacked out wheel. I like a grayed out wheel. I'm not huge on the chrome. I don't have a problem with Colorado being in chrome on the back, or I think it's like one other spot on the truck or two other spots on the truck. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but I don't dig the chrome wheels, and this would totally scream too much chrome for me.
Yeah. Now, something they did bring into the midsize trucks, they're all getting tall, and I think it's in one of my videos I talk about how big the beds are, how because it was that shoulder when and I'm 5'8". My shoulder, top of my shoulder was at the top of that bed. So them bringing from the full size trucks the steps into that, I like that quite a bit. Yes, it really is very necessary. And you got to think, a big segment of truck buyers now are women. And I'm gonna guess I remember like the average height of a woman's 5'5" to 5'8", whatever. That's women are gonna have a harder time getting into the back of this truck, right?
Yeah, because I'm 5'8", 5'9" on a good day, but and you know, I definitely appreciate the step because, like you said, there is a certain you want to reach in. You're not gonna always I can't remember what somebody called it. Somebody called it like the danger zone or something, which is like above the cab, or excuse me, against the cab, like right in the middle. Like you're not going to get there. And at least if you've got that side step, you can actually crawl up in the back of the truck pretty easily if you needed to. Right.
Now, this is the Trail Boss, and this is for all the midsize trucks we've talked about here recently. I did a video of build and price on this. This truck is out of all of them that I've seen for the Colorado, this is the hottest truck, midsize truck for interest wise that I've seen right now. And we both were excited. This was the first one we got to get to.
Got to
What
get to.
I don't
Got
know.
to.
Yes. And we beat out Joe Ratty with Ratty's
We
Rides.
did.
And
And sorry, y'all, we are. He may have already said it at the very beginning, but we're still recovering from
Yes.
our Chicago Auto Show. So bear with us.
But we were in the middle of it filming this thing, and Joe was there, and he's a very nice gentleman.
Yes.
Him and his wife, very nice people. But I told him, I was like, hey, you got to let the little dogs have a little bit of meat here. And
I don't think he understood that Dave was being funny.
Yeah. But anyways,
I tried to recover.
Anyways, he's probably in his video of this thing's going, there was this little asshole that was.
I don't think
he would say that at all. But so Kelly, the thing with this one is, and we didn't really cover this in the video, was you're getting a factory lifted vehicle.
Yeah.
And I hate to use the word factory lifted because it's not lifted if it's from the factory. What's our cat's going crazy
doing over there? Yeah.
But it's always funny to me when you hear factory lifted. No, it's just how it comes. You know what I mean? It wasn't. What is our cat doing?
I don't know. I'll be right back.
All right. But so this one here, the Trail Boss, I was very excited about because I don't need everything. When I'm Kelly's big, like the Z71 that we were looking at, it came with heated and cooled seats. And of course for the auto shows, they bring out the plushest trim of each one that they do. So there was even options with the Trail Boss that, the most optioned out Trail Boss you could get. But one thing with this factory lifted vehicle was, Kelly, you got your black wheels.
I know. I really like that. Let's take those and put them on the Z71.
Right. And that's going to happen. People are going to get on
100%. They're going to trade them out.
Yeah. But what I was disappointed about were these tires. Now, these are a Goodyear Wrangler. It's a very light AT tire. And I've said this many times in the past, why you don't get a more aggressive tire on off-road packages, because you can look at the Toyota Tacoma TRD, the one that should come with the TRD Pro should come with a super aggressive tire,
and it doesn't.
And I've talked to several manufacturers about this, and they're like, because of the first 90 days, they take those surveys, and generally, if you put an aggressive tire on it, it's all about road noise, this and that, and
it rides so rough.
Yeah, they don't want to be dinged for that, so they put something that sort of looks like what you want, knowing you're probably just going to a guy that's going to take a true truck like this to want to off-road it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go put on what your special tire you like on anyway. So, I wish you could get from the factory what you want, but sadly you can't. But these look from the outside, they look okay till you see the actual tread pattern. And it was just like a normal light duty AT tire.
Mm-hmm. Especially in our Amazon society, it would be really nice to be like, I want that. And I want that.
I've often said if manufacturers would get to the point of where you could push or click each option you wanted, people would spend a lot more.
Yeah.
But they would be a lot happier with their purchase.
For sure.
And GM and Ford even Ram are bad about forcing you into packages.
Yeah.
Like you'll go, heated steering wheels. Oh, well, I can't have that now because it shows me into some entertainment package that I don't want.
Well, and the reason they don't do that, for those that don't have a true awareness of auto manufacturing or just manufacturing in general, speed is queen. Yes. And if you start picking and choosing and turning it into your custom ice cream from Dairy Queen, like I don't know where that came from. Apparently I want ice cream. But if you start turning it into your custom ice cream from Dairy Queen, you're going to start seeing a slowdown of the manufacturing of these vehicles. But then again, maybe you start to see happier customers, and maybe you do see an increase and people are more willing to wait for their vehicle if they're getting that custom. I don't know. That's just a thought on it.
Well, yes, I do believe, the process, from someone who has worked in auto manufacturing, been on the lines, they don't want those people to ever have to think. Mm-hmm. So everybody, in the way it happens in warehousing, they select the parts. There's a model, or there's a code for what color truck, for mirrors, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they put all this stuff in a pile, not in a pile, but on these little rails that they take it out to the line, and they don't want those people having to think. And I think as if you've seen the efficiency in plants of how this works, the process works, I think you'd be very impressed of what they could do. Now, the biggest thing is wiring harnesses and stuff. A lot of those are very generic.
I was going to say, we saw it in our Xterra when we modified them. They still put the same harness in.
Yes.
It's just whether it has the for example, the
lights
fog
and, yeah.
light, you know, or what is it called? It's the fog light. What is it?
The stick.
The stick. I don't remember.
Yeah, where you turn on the
Yeah.
column.
The switch or the button. And we found that too in several different things. It's like, oh, the wiring is here for this higher model,
Yeah.
but it's in my standard. So, I mean, that part is not the challenge of it because the wiring is typically there. It's the other pieces of it that are putting the heated seats in, putting the other thing, you know, all of those different things that come with it. So
YouTube Car Spotters guide. I gotta bring this up. This is hilarious. And thank you so much for the super chat.
yes.
Believe me or not, all that stuff helps get us to these shows and you know, but help pay for the trip. And did the Colorado pass your love my cup holder test?
The Z71 did.
Yes. So the Trail Boss that you see right here, once again, it's stripped down features. You're getting a lift that you might want. You're getting a couple little off-road options that you want, but you're not getting a lot of other fluff options because the seats in this truck were very fabric. They were plain, and
they were very base model Bronco to me. For those that are Bronco.
Yeah, they were very. I mean, and that's the standard with this truck. Your Trail Boss is everything you need, nothing you don't, kind of thing. Kind of Nissan's old slogan.
I was gonna say, okay, Xterra, man.
But you do sacrifice a few things, and of course, in the back of this, you don't get the armrest with the cup holders come in it. I mean, all the other features in it, you get cup holders. There was one. There was two in the center. There was for the passengers. There was two cup holders there.
Yeah. So I mean, and you've got them in each door. So really, it passes the I love my cup holders test from that perspective. But I do definitely feel like it should become standard with an armrest, just across all the brands. I'm talking.
Yeah, and
like just put an armrest in all of your vehicles.
I'm gonna bring up part of our video here real quick so we can I can scan through.
We should just do a playlist in the channel where we just look at a vehicle. It was like, did it pass Kelly's cup holder test?
Right. Right. Oh, right here. So I'm gonna bring this up real quick, and let's do this. So this is where I really thought the Trail Boss was very nice. Was the flares that they put on this? Now every truck has a small flare. It's just a nice design feature, but they did think outside the box a little bit and gave us a bigger flare because they know people are going to put a larger tire on this thing. And you pointed this out in the video was, you know, it's nice that they did that for an off-road truck because some states, I know Pennsylvania, there's a few others up north that you cannot have your tires stick out past the flares.
Yeah, and if they have to go for inspections, they will actually put different tires on before they go, and then they will gamble driving down the road a lot of times that they don't get pulled over. And people do get pulled over if their tires are outside of the wheel well.
Yes, but you're getting a manual slide out glass in this, which was nice. As you can see, here's the little back of the ET headrest, as I call it. Very nice. The styling of this truck, very in line with all the others, but I did like that it looks a little more aggressive, and I think the fenders stick out just a little bit further than like the Z71. I could be wrong on that though. But let me
she definitely has some hips.
Yes, definitely has some hips. Let's see here. I'm scrolling real quick. Don't even know my own video. We did have the plastic in this. Oh, here, perfect. As you can see right here, this is what I was talking about with the you can see the little bulge for the they know people are taller people. I don't know that this truck had a manual to let the seat go down any further than
it didn't.
It was.
They were manual.
But
seats.
We both sat. I'm 5'8". Kelly's just a hair taller than me. We both felt like we were sitting high in this truck.
Yes.
So I can't imagine. I did get a comment from somebody, and I think in this video he commented about, "Hey, Kelly looks like she's, you know, very up into the roof of this truck." He goes, "I'm 6'3". I don't know that that's going to work for me. And
I, you know, and here's the thing. It depends on your. We're going to get all scientific. It depends on your torso to head height because you could have longer legs and it would be fine for you. So definitely sit in a vehicle and see if it works for you, because it was definitely, had I been any taller, I would have definitely felt quite claustrophobic.
Or if you know, a lot of guys wear hats.
Yeah.
You know, this may be a vehicle that you're like, well, I can't wear my hat.
Well, and your Texas folks aren't going to be able to wear their
There's
cowboy hats.
There is no cowboy hats in that. But as you can see here, I mean, they were smart enough to knowing
pop it in.
to pop it in. But if you get the sunroof, like this whole back piece back here where the sunroof slides back in, like you're just losing a lot of headspace.
Yeah, but I think if we recall correctly, in the sunroof portion of it, it's that much higher for it. So maybe that is the option for your taller folks, is getting that sunroof option.
Now, something the Trail Boss that you're going to get, and their photos online don't show this as well, but this was all hard plastic.
Yes.
Now, I'm not anti-plastic because it's easy to wipe out. I personally don't mind that. Nissan used to take so much garbage for the interiors of the Frontier being all plastic, plastic. And because I think partially people like to pick on Nissan, but every manufacturer does this. This is the Trail Boss. And once again, this is all plastic. There's no soft touch areas anywhere in this truck, but it's a Trail Boss. Once again, it's a lower trim. You're not getting all the lush features that you might want. So just keep in mind of that. And I'm not once again, I'm not dogging this truck for that, because I know the reasoning behind it, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Now here, once again, this is where Kelly's pointing out the all the gloss piano finish there. Some interesting, you had this weird where you could set your phone. This is not a charging area, but where you could set your phone. You had this weird kind of camo look to it.
Yeah, it's like geo camo.
Yeah, kind of like what Toyota does in the seats of their TRD Pro stuff. But it really didn't go anywhere else in the truck. If you remember, this was just there.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of an afterthought of, hey, we need to put something in here. Let's pump it up. You know, like I mentioned in the video, I think like you could have taken that geometric and replaced the piano trim with it, and you can see around the cup holders as well. The piano trim is around the cup holders, and I think, and I missed that when we were sitting in there, and I really feel like those are going to be scratched to crap too, because you're continually putting a cup in there.
all this right here.
Right around the cup holders. You're putting a cup holder in, pulling the cup holder out.
I think this would have been a nice feature to blend that all through this center stack, and it might have made the Trail Boss a little more unique.
Yes.
And you know, like people go, okay, well, mine just looks a little more military, or you know what I mean, or something to that extent. Now, this being a Trail Boss, you're getting a limited slip rear differential, so there's no lockers. You can see the lane control. There's your on off for the stupid auto off thing, but not a lot of buttons here to push your you know, basic AC vents controls. But this truck is not made to you know, be super fancy.
No, YouTube Car Spotters Guide said, I like the Trail Boss name. I really do like. You better keep going on that screen. You better not stop on my face on that one. I'm sorry, he's popping through, and we're not having a repeat of the wet seats picture. But YouTube Car Spotters Guide said, I like the Trail Boss name. I agree. After seeing this, yes, I get that this vehicle is meant to be beat up a little bit, but I feel like it's a little high of a name for what you get out of it.
I think because you don't come at that. You don't track all the stuff like I do. So some of this you're new to, some of the way they do. Yeah. The Trail Boss name, you just sort of feel like it should be special. Yeah. And it is special, of course, but it's just a cheaper special, I think, than what you had in your mind for. Now you've seen them with the 1500s. Yeah. And with 1500, you are getting, it is a little bit nicer truck. But you know, it is what it is. Now, these are all cloth seats in this thing. Kelly was not impressed with those. They don't bother me at all. Many of my work vehicles have been cloth seats, so I don't freak out about that kind of stuff.
I'm not freaking out.
I know you're not.
Jeez.
Let me, I'm trying to find the back of this.
You just want to show off your fancy new shirt.
Yes, that's clearly it. And me without a hat.
I know. Did you guys see? He's not wearing a hat. He didn't wear a hat at all at the car show.
No. Well, I'm brown professionals. All right. So this is where the armrest would be. There's no armrest or anything in the Trail Boss. Once again, one thing, you didn't get any like the map holders.
Yeah, we were very shocked with that. Like, what does it take to put just a little piece of fabric?
And why is that? You know, suddenly things that used to be standard now, because I think a lot of these vehicles, they don't have anywhere else to go. There's nowhere, like, you know, that's why the tailgates and all these things are getting these little things now, because they're kind of running out of big ideas to put with these. Yeah. But so I think they start taking away things that were just sort of standard in people's minds. And yeah, they're not, they have to pull them away and go, oh, well, that's in the higher trims. You're like, what?
Right.
But was a little amazed with that. Let's see if I can find this real quick. Oh, here. No USB, any plugins in the back of this
Nothing.
thing. And so the price point of this vehicle, I think you could get a Nissan Pro
Are you
4X.
sure there's not? I thought there was like one thing, but not everything. Nope, it's empty.
It's all blank.
It's naked.
I think you could get in the price point of this vehicle, you could almost get a not fully loaded Pro 4X, but I think you get a nice Pro 4X in this model, and
it has plugs.
You're getting some of this tech. So definitely search around now. There's people that are brand specific, and there's nothing wrong with that. If Chevrolet is the brand that moves the needle for you, so be it. But
oh, stop right there. Show that. Oh, I meant right where you were.
Were the cup holders?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Y'all know I love my cup holders, but what I do like about these cup holders is you actually do have that slot for a phone. Like
Yes.
It sounds silly, but that is something because you're typically taking up a cup holder spot if you want to. And like many times you go, oh dang, where am I going to put my phone? Like,
but something I don't think you've noticed this. See these holes right here?
Yeah.
That's for a tablet.
Ah, I did not notice that.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, so you could stick a tablet if your family, somebody's in the back.
I just was thinking handle on your cup holder, but yeah, that
I mean, I think dual purpose.
Yeah,
yes.
but that's a good point. Like you put it there for the kids in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So that is the Trail Boss. Between the two, obviously the Z71 was a lot nicer truck. Some of the features in that truck, the soft touch features, I mean, it's just night and day, just a nicer truck. And so I want to bring up real quick. I want to see if I can get a picture of the dash.
Oh, you just had it right there.
Well, but I want to show the dash where.
Oh, the other side.
Here it is. There it is right there. So I want to show. So this is the difference from the Z71 to the Trail Boss. Look at all the soft touch. That's all that. It's nice cloth, soft touch. I believe that was cloth. Pretty sure it's cloth. But you're getting that piano finish kind of goes through the vehicle a little bit, which I don't think in there is going to get that scratched up unless people just try to put stuff into there. Definitely still some plastics up here, but you can see definitely you're getting.
It's a step up.
Yeah, and you're getting trim pieces. There's a little bit of fanciness to it that you were going to get versus the I believe the screen is just slightly larger. But there's some fun to it. You're getting all the little fun switches down here now, but ultimately, like the layout, everything's very similar. I was very impressed with the truck. So other than driving impressions, which I think it'll drive like any other truck, honestly. These are like one of the last of the leaf springs. Them and Nissan for some reason cannot let go of the rear leaf springs, which makes the truck ride a little bit rougher. But I'm curious about that 4-cylinder. I want to do some time in that, and as soon as I can do some time in that vehicle, I will do some time in that vehicle because I'm very curious about that.
Honestly, knowing the GM brand from like you were saying, from a driving perspective, I think it'll drive more like a car than some of the other trucks do within the industry. But that's only from our personal experience from that, the soft ride with it.
I'm going to murder an animal.
It's because she wants back in. So she was scratching that box thinking it was one of her scratch pads is what it was.
Yep. All right. Very professional show here.
Yeah. Now, welcome to our live.
This was back in the Z71. A couple things I want to point out real quick that I can show you from this video. Look there, USB-C, USB-A, which it looks like they had room for more.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, you used to get kind of 2 USBs and maybe 1 C. I don't know if it's just because the world's sort of converting to C that they're slowly just transitioning. They're
like, wait, we don't want to take it away just yet.
Yeah, the other out. But under here, you in this package, you're definitely where's my mouse? There it is. Down here, there's an inverter, which is real nice. I don't think we got any good video of it. Let me pull this out real quick.
I think that's the best you're gonna get with that.
But look at what we're gonna pull up here. Armrest and cup holders, so you do get a little bit more for fluids.
Yeah.
Cup holders are so weird to me. I mean, it's a fun thing that because we pick on the Ford Bronco for not getting them initially.
Yeah.
But There's two there. I don't recall anything in the doors of these, but I was just like,
all of them had doors.
how
Every single with GM/Chevy brand had them in the doors.
how much fluid does one person need in these vehicles? You know, I know it's an easy like kind of PR pitch. We have all these cup holders, you know, but it's just kind of funny to me.
I'll be honest. The stuff I put in the door is it's not a Sonic cup. I'm not going to put a Sonic cup in the door, but I might put my water, like my water bottle in the cup, you know? So I think that's kind of the thing. Cause I know when we travel, we have a water bottle and then we have whatever the flavor is, you know, kind of thing. But
now, lastly on these GM products was the Z71, all the nice leatherish features that they have, and very nice padded, very nice looking seats. Something that I like that like brands like Nissan do not do. They do a nice seat in the front and a lot of cool stitching in the front of the Pro 4X, and then the backs are just plain seats.
Yeah.
GM is nice enough to blend all that into the back seats. Yes, there's a little bit more cost to that, but I don't know. I feel like it's just something that
you're paying a premium.
Yeah, you're paying a premium for these trucks. And if you know, your neighbor comes over, wants to check out the new cool truck, they're going to go through it, and I don't know, it's just going to look sort of plain in the back of it.
They may not notice it's missing, but then once they see it, they're going to be like, "Oh, that's missing."
More
from
styling,
other stuff.
more styling to it. Yeah,
for sure. If you see it in other brands and you don't see it in that one, then you're going to notice it's missing.
Yes, but Kelly with her brand new All-Terrain Nation shirt.
You just show up my shirt now.
Yeah, but that was the GM Twins. Overall, I will say it's a needed improvement versus the last generation. Just so much needed. Now I'm hoping that GM doesn't just throw these out and that's all they ever do with them. I've talked many times. GM is sort of in a cluster F of, do they want to be a EV company? Do they still want to be a gasoline powered company? And sometimes trucks like this, they'll put a lot of development into them, and they're never going to add anything, no more money to it. You're going to, for 10 years, this is the truck you're going to get. But overall, I thought they were a nice looking vehicle. And you know, speaking of Nissan, we didn't do a walk around on this because we've done this truck before, but I do want to comment.
And this one was locked anyway. Really?
Our cat today. But
because we've been gone for 3 days.
Nissan they stepped their booth up. Normally they've been sort of with the economy at the Chicago Auto Show, which is I'm telling you, the Chicago Auto Show is a very nice. It's a truck.
They were actually in a different side of the. Now that I think about it, what is her deal?
I don't know.
Sorry, y'all.
But they had this nice lifted Frontier. I thought this thing looked good, and they're showcasing parts that you can buy from them now. So this rack, this is a Nismo rack. They have a Nismo bed rack. I believe there's a lift kit from Nismo now with this. These are Nismo wheels. I thought that was a nice looking vehicle, and you look at that vehicle and it's obtainable. You know, it's not some concept that they threw out there that you're never going to be able to get those parts. That was a very obtainable truck. And I have to say, you put aggressive tires on this thing, the lights, everything about this truck just come together. I mean, I don't think it's a bad looking truck anyways, but wheels, tires, suddenly you're like, hell yeah, I want to take that thing off-roading. You know, and of course you got some rock rails with it, and these have the little steps that can come off. I'm not a big fan of multi-use rock rails because I don't think they're truly. I think you could beat them up pretty easy. Yeah, but it's kind of nice that they do have some packages for that, and of course they'll have some skids under there. But where were you at with this truck? Did you like it?
I thought it was aggressive. I mean, but like you've said, like we've seen this a lot. It's, you know, it's not new this year from that perspective. So for us, I didn't spend a ton of time. You took a couple pictures, we kept walking. So it didn't turn my head because we've had the experience with it. But I do think it's aggressive for the market. And I do think they did a good job with putting it together and maybe standing out. Like if their booth had been a little bigger, maybe they would have gotten a few more eyes on it or things like that.
And they had another version, but they had their very, I think, unobtainable version of this truck that I didn't want to show. But I think this was very obtainable. Let's see. Kevin's asking, where is the new Ranger? Hopefully they will have a separate front bumper, unlike these spy shots we've seen. Well, what a lot of companies are doing now, this plastic all through here, it's where bumper companies are kind of, it's not always a full bumper, which bums me out because I want the added protection on the sides. But the way they're doing all these designs, I know for Nissan, like I've seen where they cut this stuff out, and it can look okay. But Toyota and Nissan right now this is all removable where people are adding bumpers. I know what you're talking about with the Ranger, and yes, it seems to be a one-piece grill, but people have cut that. I know the previous Nissans, the way the grills were, people were cutting them. It's just kind of how it is. I think for aerodynamics, they're trying to make a brick as aerodynamic as possible. And when you have all those little body lines in there out in the front, it's just placed for capture wind, slow things down. And we're at the millimeters now of aerodynamics for this stuff. And everything's aluminum now. They're trying to make these trucks so light, so smooth because of federal regulations on this. So I understand that. And I think with Ford, depending on which trim you get, I have seen some of those spy shots where it looks like each trim might have a different front fascia there. So hopefully they'll have something for you that where you want to add a bumper to it and make it unique.
Well, and honestly, if you think about it, the manufacturers are not thinking aftermarket bumpers or aftermarket aggression. They're thinking, like you said, they're thinking about how do we hit those Ford requirements or those federal requirements and things like that. So definitely a little bit of a different thought process than what we would like to from a consumer perspective.
Now, what I'm about to show you is a pretty embarrassing photo of me trying to do something interesting for a thumbnail.
I took 25 pictures.
She did. And of course, when you got people watching you with these things, it's the most awkward thing ever. But that is the AT4. GMC kind of disappointed me. Now, these trucks they're still early before they're coming out. The Chevrolet was shown first, and it was like
they're still prototypes.
2 months later, I think they brought the GMC out. So they're still a couple months behind of us actually getting to see the AT4X. But very impressed with this truck. I've often said that I think the GMC front end looks better to me, but after seeing it in person, I kind of like the Chevrolet version of that front end a little bit better. The somebody made a comment in this video
seeing on the opposite
in the truck of, well, I don't like all this not chrome but this platinum look to it. I like a darker plastic like that, and you kind of like a little flash from time to time. We did talk about I do like how they brought the running lights down through there like that. And it is a very GMC trait, but awkward photo of me standing in front of the booth there. Now I'm going to bring up that video real quick. And, so we can, discuss that truck because I was overall, there's things that the twins always have in common. There's looks to them that they're always going to look somewhat similar. There we go. There's a good perfect shot of this front end. Let's see here. There we go. So it's not
I like the platinum.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm not like this is horrible. I just for some reason I like the way they did it for the Chevrolet. I believe the Chevrolet lights are up a little higher versus the
Chevy versus GMC in our house.
Yeah. But the fog lights down here look great. You're getting it. This did have definitely a little more aggressive tire, which was nice. Now I don't like the wheels on this thing, but either way, I like how they're badging what model you have in the grill. I think that looks great. The hoods on these are more aggressive looking. And GMC's gone through this shift of being, in the 80s and 90s when the S10 came out, was very, we were getting the Chevy love, and that was only because the fuel economy, all the stuff from the 70s, they imported all these import trucks, and so GM had a relationship with the Isuzu. They import those trucks in till they can design their own. They designed the S10, which was just a utilitarian. You got AC in those. The AC was an option like that. They were very just basic utilitarian trucks. But GMC, the S15s of the time were even lower. And GMC as a brand has somehow flipped in the 90s. They just flipped that brand and being like, hey, now we're more luxury. How do you go from being a very economy to suddenly a luxury? But now in this next generation version, they definitely did it. They definitely did that. And let's see here. Here we go, right here. This is the door of that truck. A lot of stitching, as you can see. But I like the fact somebody commented they thought this was puke looking. Tans for luxury vehicles are just always going to be in there.
Yeah, we did I know this is the Midsize show, but we did a walk around of Kia Carnival, and like the color in there was supposed to be like a caramel type color, and it was lipstick pink.
Well,
Like, I mean, it was a taupey.
yeah, it was
pink.
not a great color.
So it's definitely, you can go good way or bad way with caramel.
But I like all the, I mean, this is what you're paying for this truck. A lot of people go, well, I can get the Chevy for the same price, but yeah, but you're not getting all the soft touch
And this
features.
is in the front seat and the back seat.
But I like the way the design of breaking all this up looks good. Of course, you're going to get some plastics in there. Don't get me wrong, but this was a nice little touch to the leather there. I thought it was really good looking. Let's see what we can find. Here we go. This is the steering wheel. The interior of this.
Your pants match.
They do. I did that on purpose.
I knew it.
But definitely look at the kind of platinum look to it. Now, I don't like all the chrome, because you know what happens with chrome? The sun always, no matter which direction you're turned, the sun's always going to reflect crap in your eyes.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that with the piano too. I think that the piano finish, you're going to get that same effect because it's bouncing off that shiny surface.
But once again, look, I like how they bled all that tan in there. You're getting square air vents versus the Chevy's round, so they've definitely made sure these trucks are not the same truck.
Which is interesting, because those that don't know, my dad built GMC/Chevy trucks in the exact same plant. The trucks would roll down the line, one right after another. One would be a Chevy, one would be a GM, and vice versa. And he said really the only difference a lot of the times was the nameplate that they would put on. So the fact that they're really differentiating their brand, I think, is pretty cool.
But the nice soft touch steering wheel, just a little big, but it's something on a long trip. You don't want these little skinny things where you got to grip real hard. It's more about comfort. They brought
some ergos.
Yeah, they brought that tan stitching into it, the steering wheel. We talked about the buttons in this video a little bit. I love the fact, and I know you mentioned it, that it's getting to be one touch cruise control now, where you don't have to go like turn it on, set. Like, you don't 5 steps to do it. It's a lot of one touch.
And it's funny, you don't realize those things until you don't have to do it anymore. And then you're like, dang, this should be in everything. Because I said that about a Bronco one time. I was like, man, I love that this one touch cruise control makes a big difference.
But you can see the layout of the buttons there.
Ooh, heated steering wheel. I didn't see that one.
But you're getting all the features you do expect from a higher end vehicle. And trust me.
And honestly, that is a good placement of the heated steering wheel button.
Oh yeah. Now here is the center stack. Of course, you got cooled seats, which Kelly loves.
Yes.
We will fight about that. I mean, I'm sure if I ever had it, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's awful.
Give it to me.
Right. But you get the heated seats, all your on off. Here's all your AC controls of that truck. But once again, this is that piano finish.
Yeah.
Are these printed? Because a lot of times they start wearing off.
I don't think so. It felt smooth to me. So I'm pretty sure it's under the piano finish.
There's your fan speeds,
or there's like a clear on it.
I made a comment in this, and it wasn't a comment of like being rude, but I called this versus the
haptic.
Yeah, the haptic feedback screens, where you could have to do all this crap through the screens, it's a version almost of Braille anymore. And I know that might sound insensitive, but it is. You feel when you're driving in your car, you feel the buttons without looking.
It's tactical.
Yes. And and so I'm happy that they gave you lots of buttons to kind of.
And they're differentiated. It's not just one roll of buttons.
But your AC controls, I wasn't big on these. I have to admit, I thought they kind of felt cheap. The knobs didn't feel. I felt like they should have felt more weighted, especially in the GMC. Should have felt more weighted. Ultimately, am I not going to buy a truck because of that? No, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But your on-off switch there, your power buttons. Big screen in this thing, just a big screen, and very nice in the GMC. And once again, you can definitely tell that
some scratches.
No, I haven't brought it up yet. But you can definitely tell that this truck, you're getting more features, nicer features than Versus. Now here, once again, we're to beat this dead horse. This is the piano finish that Kelly was talking about. Look, these are little scratches already.
Yep.
And now this thing's going to really get scratched up because it's at the auto show. People are going to get in and out of it. But definitely, it's hard. It's as bad as it sounds. If you could disassemble that, maybe clear wrap it, so it just protect it somewhat, with a PPF of some sort. I think it would help these vehicles a little bit. You're getting the electronic parking on this. Here's all your modes.
Well, interesting looking at it. don't go away from this
Okay.
shot. If you can see, it's mirrored of what the other one was. So had they not decided where they were going to put the shifter yet?
No, it's in the opposite
No,
spot.
I'm being funny.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Because it's because the mirrored shape. Notice
Oh,
the shape
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
exactly the same for both.
Well, are these trucks going to overseas?
Ah, that's a good call out too.
So
Yeah,
then it
that's
would
it. Then they would
be.
put it over there. Yep.
But I think some of that might just be for feng shui kind of balance to make things look, don't break it up too much. But
Yeah.
not bad
Aesthetic,
looking.
not feng shui.
There's
Aesthetic.
yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see.
I bring the brains. Just messing.
I'm trying to get this to stop here real quick where it's actually clear. That's about as good as we're gonna get it. So this is your bottom buttons on this thing. Pretty standard. No rear locker, it looks like in this one. There's your A and B down there. I believe this one did have the did this one have the charging? I can't remember.
In the back?
No, the wireless charging.
Oh,
I don't believe it does.
No,
but it's the same look that the Chevrolet has.
Yeah.
That'd be one thing I would be like, hey, GMC, come on.
Right.
Let's get with it just a little bit. Let me pull this off just a second so I can find the next part. Oh, this was something I happened to know that was in the full size. Never mind. Ignore me.
Yeah, just ignore them.
All right.
It's best.
Here is the dash. Once again, soft touch. You're getting leather. So you're paying for it, but you're getting a nice features. I thought it was a classy touch, that AT4 in there. I kind of like the I won't say it's carbon fiber look, but it has that similar.
It's similar.
But I thought the styling of this truck in particular was very nice. Now, some of this is plastics. You can see the airbag. I guarantee it splits right there. So some of this has to be plastics to separate for the airbags. Bendable, quick, that in that explosion happens. I'm sure that's why the dash of this is plastic. But I thought ultimately this felt like they finally took the big trucks that they were doing, the styling, the big AT4s, the styling, they've done that and just kind of miniaturized it and brought it down a little bit and made it look pretty nice, in my opinion. Now, let's see here. I'm trying
to. Jason, I'm not familiar with the Tennessee Bronco Builders drive-in tonight. Can you send us some info?
Is that the one in Franklin that we were going to go to the first Saturday, or I don't know?
Oh, it might be the second Saturday.
Yeah, there we go. All right, here's a funny face of me, but you can see.
You're welcome.
Yes, but you can look at all the even in the seats and stuff, all the extra goodies, the extra stitching that you're getting, you're getting the mat pocket, as you should for a higher end vehicle. But let's play through here real quick.
Yeah, it's the thing in Franklin. Yeah, we need to put that on our agenda.
Once again, there's cup holders that you're getting with that. The seats were very nice. Here's where I'm talking about. That looks like ET's head to me.
ET phone home.
Like I can imagine you extend that up and it's like, and then the little finger coming out and I don't know, put some googly eyes on that would be hilarious to me. Just would be hilarious to me.
Lovely.
Right. But ultimately, a very nice truck. I will say here, seating position in the back of these small trucks, actually not bad. Would I want to do a trip across country that way? No. If you were a child or someone smaller, definitely could do that. But it felt very nice. I talk about in the video here, I actually like that they give you a lot of room for an armrest. Not everybody wants their elbows way down. Some people like to have them up there. And when you're doing farm things, you might.
Oh Lord, watch this fit. Is this the one where you said all the farm things?
Right. All right, right here. So somebody already commented about this in this video about I don't like the fact that GMC is so big and it's in chrome and the big
Have
canyon.
You seen the Ram?
Well, but the reason they do that is people that buy a luxury vehicle, there's a thing where they love screaming out that they have a luxury vehicle. And whether you think a midsize truck is a luxury vehicle, I mean, this is a $60,000 truck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot for a freaking midsize. So the clientele that buy this want to scream out, I've spent a lot of money. As petty as that sounds, that's why they've done that. And that's why they didn't stamp it into the tailgate of this truck. And that's why it screams Canyon there. And then you get big AT4X. I don't know if you can see it or not when I move. But definitely there is a client that wants that
Your boobs are in the way.
I see that. Stupid boobs. This was a nice feature that I was very surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised because we've seen it in the press releases, but the little cargo area back there. Now, in pictures, you're just like, well, that seems gimmicky.
Yeah.
But we love to off-road. And I personally like to off-road trucks. She likes to do SUVs.
Hey.
And the idea that my tow ropes and stuff, if you needed them, they're all muddy and dirty, that you could just put them in there just for storage or throw them in the bed of the truck, wash them out, put them there for safekeeping. I thought that was very nice. I don't know though if this was lockable. When you lock the truck, if that makes it lockable or not.
Oh, I don't think it I don't know, but I will say I don't think it does because it wasn't very technologically inclined.
But so I don't know if I would leave my stuff in there due to theft, especially if you're in a bigger city I don't know that you want to leave your stuff in there. But this is very nice. As you can see, it looks like a little drain hole there. It looked like I don't know.
It actually was wet on this one. So you know that they were actually.
Yeah. I don't know that you could probably use this as a cooler. I mean, for not a long weekend.
Yeah, it's like the Bronco for those that are Bronco fans. Like it's not a cooler because it's not insulated, but it could be used as a cooler, I think, for a short term. And if you think about it, I mean, you can tell that it's kind of sealed around it within reason where it's going to keep the liquids out or in. Prospectively, but
I mean, yeah, definitely here it looks like you could leak water out there, but I think for a half day thing you could throw some ice back there, put some drinks in there or whatever, and be all right. These little spots here look like they're for some plastic inserts, which I thought was really nice. That I'm funny in this video about that, but it does look like if you have smaller items to keep them from flopping around in here, nobody wants a floppy item in their truck. So you got to keep your items from not being so floppy.
Live over yet?
It's almost over. But ultimately, I thought this truck was very nice. Here, I'll play that real quick. You can see tailgate was very light, as they should be now. They're all aluminum. The measuring thing is so goofy to me. I don't know.
You just measure a fish, so that way there's no question when you get back as to how big the fish actually was.
But it's a bedline, which I think should be standard, which I don't think is on most of these. And
I love that picture of you.
Yeah, thanks.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's great. We'll do that.
You're welcome.
But out of the three that we saw there of the GMs, which was kind of your favorite, Kelly?
Are we talking midsize?
Yeah, of the three GM twins that we saw there.
I'd say the AT4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Because
I like the square. Thingies in it.
The square thingy.
Sorry, my words.
Journalistic
my words are
term
still
there.
Finding them. I used them all at the car show, Dave.
Okay, sorry.
The square vents.
Oh, okay.
I like the square vents versus the round ones. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the aesthetics of it. Like practicality wise, the round ones are probably better.
Well, you're a little more bougie than me too. So
I am a little more bougie.
That makes sense.
And I like the front grille on the GMC better.
Really?
The AT4.
Really? Oh man, I'm
But when we did the midsize conversation in the happy hour a couple weeks ago, I liked it when we did that. I liked the GMC better than the Chevy. Anyway.
Oh, well, that's true. That is true. Let's see.
Yes, and the cup holders. 100%.
And the cup holders. I want to talk about this just for a second. This is the monstrosity that is the Ram REV. And I know this is a mid-sized truck show, but I just kind of want to hit on this real quick.
Which we did the reveal on this.
Yeah, so my buddy Tim Esterthal got to sit in this vehicle, and we could have. After seeing this thing in person, I don't like this thing at all. I mean, obviously the EV market is for a different buyer probably than I am anyways. I don't hate the wheels, I'll be honest. Well, it's very concept. They'll do a watered down version of that. This thing is a school bus.
It's massive.
It's long and it feels narrow. And obviously the concept, so you're not going to get all these tiny mirrors and stuff.
Well, it's reminiscent of, I mean, you can definitely tell it's a Ram brand from the front end with the bubble, the bubble lights, and it's a bigger play on. It definitely has the Ram.
Oh, it's a generational feel to it.
Yeah, definitely has that.
But this thing was massive, and we have a reservation for, and I don't have a picture of this right now, but we have a reservation for the Avalanche. I mean, Silverado EV. And I'll be honest, after we both saw it, because we haven't been to any of the auto shows where it's been, and I have to be honest, after seeing the damn thing, I don't know that I would buy it. That thing is like a tank. It's as wide as a tank and feels about as long as a tank. And it's going to be 9,000 pounds, much like the Hummer is. And damn, like just a massive, massive vehicle. And anything else? I'm trying to glance real quick.
Oh, and for those, go ahead and show our feed, please. And then scroll down to my Fiat one. Don't play it because it's got up. Okay, right there. Stop. Don't play it because it's got audio on it. That's monetizable. So, for those of you that are on our Instagram,
we know this is Midsize truck.
We know that this is Midsize truck for one, but I also know that I had to tell you all this. So this was totally for our daughter. This had nothing to do with the channel. So just so everybody knows, when you're like, why the hell are they doing Fiat now? So just so you all know, it was totally for our daughter. It had nothing to do.
Right.
So don't feel like there's more of that coming unless it's comedic.
Right.
So.
And we got to meet our friends, the Ford video guy, over at what's the
Long MacArthur.
Long MacArthur. That's Tim and his daughter.
Tim Bartz and his daughter.
Very nice people. And
yes.
And we had a fun night out with these clowns.
Yes.
Tim and Jill there.
Yes.
Always a lot of fun. Jill is a ball of energy.
Oh my gosh.
And every time we get to hang out with them, I kind of miss hanging out with Jill because she's such a ball of energy.
Yes.
And like Tim is a lot of energy, but they balance themselves so well. And Tim was not going to go out. This is what they call Sweet Home Chicago. It's at the end of the show. All the journalists get together and just have drinks and just talk about the show. And Tim wasn't. We weren't going to go because we were pretty beat from the show, and Tim wasn't going to go. And then ball of energy, Jill said, "No, you're all going," and we had a blast.
Well, and then I'm gonna. Dave was like, or Tim was like, "You need to meet this guy over here," and Dave goes,
"Oh yeah,
no, I'm not gonna just walk up to him." And he goes, grabs his hoodie.
I felt like somebody grabbed my ear like a kid. School
totally grabbed his hoodie and dragged him over and introduced him to
a Nissan exec.
A Nissan exec to me. But he did say, "Oh yeah, I recognize you guys. Oh, I follow the show." So it was nice to know that we were, on the radar in some instance, one way or another.
And last but not least, even though this is a mid-sized show, I just kind of want to talk about the Chicago show real quick. The Lamborghini Countach. Oh my God. This was awesome. A highlight for me. I mean, I was not going to do a video walking around this thing. You might see some shorts of it. As a kid from the 70s who had this poster on my wall of the original Countach, the 500, I believe it was.
$2.8 million.
Yeah. Well, there's only like 112 of these in the world.
Doesn't change that it's $2.8 million.
My heart melted. I have to say, my heart melted. So
and that's hard to do.
Yes, that is. I am a
cold-hearted bastard.
Yeah. I got just a couple minutes. I mean, roughly a couple minutes. If you guys have any quick questions, I like to keep these around an hour.
Jason, I'm not sure if we'll make it tonight. We'll definitely try to make it tonight. See if we can make it out to the Bronco.
We were going to the last one, and honestly, our calendar.
We thought the time frame was different. But yeah, we will try. Our daughter has a birthday party that she's got to attend until 4. So if we go, we'll be late to it. So we will definitely look into it to see. But thank you for the reminder.
Yes,
we need to actually put it in our calendar.
And let those guys know. I do plan on having. Yes. I can't think of his name at the moment. The guy that owns the shop. I want to have him on here or on the Bronco Talk Live.
YouTube Car Spotters Guide. Did anyone recognize you? No.
Well, I mean, the Nissan exec knew who I was.
The Nissan exec knew who we were.
Yeah, I mean, no, because press knows each other.
Press.
But I didn't have any oh my God. Not the weirdest one of that moment we had was when we were in Michigan last year, and somebody in an elevator was like, "Hey, you're All Terrain Nation." And
oh yeah, when we were there,
I was like, "What?"
But we weren't there for Dream Cruise. Dream Cruise was just an additional piece of it because my nephew was getting married that weekend, and yeah, that was really the only weirdest time. And it was weird. And then hey, you're that All Terrain Nation.
The creepy dude that found out where we lived. That was a little creepy too.
That was when you were Nissan Nation Productions.
No, but that was
that was creepy.
I know who you are. Moment. Any comments about the show? Anything you want to know about these trucks? We opened the hood up of the GMC,
Yes.
and not much to surprise under there. A lot of plastics to make it that engine look like it's bigger than it is. The thing that pissed me off with the GMC was no hood struts to hold the hood up.
Yes.
In that amount of a vehicle, that should have been
There should
not
be some assist hood straps.
there should not
or
even
hood
have been a
struts.
thought of that. Still had the stick. Even Nissan has upgraded their Frontier to have the hood struts now. I don't know. I thought that was one of those bloopers of like, oops, we might have missed that one.
Yeah.
Just didn't realize that people want that. And what are you saving? $10 on that truck? I know pennies matter in manufacturing, but you're already paying probably a premium for that truck.
Right.
Give me the premium features of that.
Somebody mentioned the Tacoma. I think it was the Tacoma. Yeah, the Toyota Tacoma. Bring on the Toyota Tacoma.
Yes.
We actually didn't get into any of the Toyotas because thankfully, we walked through the booth, but we didn't get into any of the Tacomas because we thankfully have had pretty good hands-on experience with Tacoma with our press events and things that we've gone to. So we really wanted to focus on the vehicles that we don't get a chance to get into and really kind of bring that content to you.
Well, and especially for midsize trucks, the GM Twins were the hottest. They're the newest thing out there right now. I mean, obviously you guys know I have the shirt on, Ranger Raptor Alley, #1.
It was said they love your shirt.
I know. And I wore this specifically for this show. But this is the latest and greatest out there right now. So we had to cover it. This was everybody's first chance to actually see the truck in person. So that's why Ratty's Rides, TFL was all over these vehicles. That's why you will see these videos pop out of that, because this was a journalist's first hands of touching it, sitting in it, getting a chance to, this is what it's going to feel like. Now, I know we were not invited, but in a week, I think TFL, pickup truck SUV, and all those guys are flying out to San Diego to get to drive the Colorado. So you will see some of that. Unfortunately, to you guys, smash that like button and the subscribe button. We're just not there yet on GM's. We want to invite you up. We want to pay for your trip out here, basically. But we will, as soon as we can get driving impressions on this vehicle, we definitely will. And I think we will get to see it in May. We have a press event in May that we would be going to, that I think we'll get to drive it and maybe do some off-roading with it. So
yeah, that would be awesome.
That'd be kind of fun.
Michael Cooper said, saw you both in the TFL Jeep video. Yeah, we were at the Jeep press conference.
My blue shirt that I wore, I didn't do this intentionally, but everybody has these tan, light, monotone colored shirts, and me and you were with these bright, happy shirts. And yeah, I see us in a few videos I've seen of us out there. We did speak to Andre, said hello to Andre. Roman, I just have never. Roman's not standoffish. He's just always doing something. So I never go out of my way.
Yeah, we've never just had a chance to reach or to meet Roman, but we've met Andre at SEMA before and things like that.
Andre's always been very nice to us when we're there. But they're impressive to watch when they're in film mode. Very impressive because so what you see them when you see them, and as we did, as soon as the press conference was over, you attack the vehicles, try to get content. Not that, cause we knew we weren't going to be first to get it out, but you just got to get, because a lot of times they close down those displays after a while, and so you can't get access. They actually
were closing them as we were finishing.
They'll lock the vehicles up. So the Jeep and stuff, that was pretty impressive. Rumor has they're going to put the 392 in a Gladiator.
Interesting.
I was hearing some rumors of that. Interesting. Which would be very cool, especially in the midsize truck segment. Can you imagine a midsize truck with a big, powerful V8? I mean, people are already swapping in Hemis and stuff into the Gladiator, but I think it would be a nice hurrah.
I still think it's gonna sway all over the road.
Honestly, I think the Hurricane engine in that truck that we drove from the
that
Grand
would be
Wagoneer,
nice.
I think 500 horsepower of that being in that Gladiator would be a better fit.
Yeah.
And you get into that truck, you get those kind of tuner pops that when I remember hearing shift points.
Oh my gosh, you guys don't even understand. Like he was like, "Oh my gosh, do you hear that?" Like he was totally nerding out.
Yep.
Like it was hilarious.
Yep.
It's in San Diego next week, is all I know, or all we were hearing rumblings of. Unfortunately, since we didn't get the invite, we don't know.
I don't know when
details,
the embargo
next week.
There's probably an embargo on driving impressions on that vehicle. So TFL will do everything. They will skirt as close as to that embargo as they can of showing things about it without actually breaking the embargo.
And yeah, Joe Ratty will be there. I know, like we said, pickup truck plus SUV talk will be there.
I think it's Tim will be there from them.
And then I don't know that Doug DeMuro will be there because he doesn't tend to go on press trips.
Doug will
He'll
go,
get a
but
vehicle.
Doug lives in San Diego, so he
Oh,
probably
yeah,
he
he'll
probably
go
will
personally.
be at that one. But Doug's not an off-road guy. He's not I mean, he'll go off-roading, but he's not I want to show this doing off-road things. He wants to just his quirks and features. And I've had nice interactions with Doug through Facebook. He's been very nice, and he loves poking the bear at the old school journalists. Loves poking that bear. So, all right, guys. So that is the Midsize Truck Show. I want to say thank you for Kelly for jumping on.
You're welcome.
Definitely have some cool perspective. If you haven't yet, go watch Kelly's video that just dropped right when this about 15 minutes before this one did. It's interesting. You have a different perspective than I do of these things. I'm curious what people think of your perspective of it versus me. You love that Z71.
I do love that Z71.
You love that Z71.
And we actually did a review on a full size too. I know this is a mid-size show, but it'll be coming.
Best video I think is going to come out is the minivan.
Yes, 100%. I agree.
The
Kia Carnival. So stay tuned for it. Even if you're not interested in it whatsoever, please stay tuned.
Yeah, just watch it. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
So Kelly, take us out on this one. Wait.
Bronco Up says, finally good news. Customer backed out. I took it. Bronco Outer Banks 2.7 Lux hardtop. Nice. Congratulations.
Nice,
That's awesome. Awesome.
There is no enjoying this weekend, David, because I'm now back into editing video mode. So I will be here all weekend, hopefully to bring you guys fresh content. So it means a lot when you guys smash the like button, honestly, and when you subscribe to the channel, it greatly means a lot. So whether it be 2-wheel drive,
4-wheel drive,
does it really matter what you drive?
Well, it does today because we're talking mid-size trucks.
Woo! Peace, y'all.
See ya.